If you're someone who is creating something, anything, if you're a songwriter, if you are standing on stages, you're delivering a service, possibly you're writing books, whatever it might be, you've got to know how to attract and keep the audience's attention. And that is through story. Not in how you tell a story, because there's so much content online about how you tell a story. I want to talk to you about the 3 stories that are going to help you stand out in the world. Are you ready?
I'm with my fave of all time.
And awesome Miss Lorraine Lawson.
Lorraine Lawson.
Lorraine Lawson.
Lorraine Lawson.
Lorraine Lawson. I just love her so much.
The first story that you must know is the story of you. The story of you is made up of the past, the present, and the future. So just write this down with me. Past, present, and the future. And so let's dive into each of these a little bit. The past is going to be how you got started. It's so great if you could have 1, 2, or 3 stories just on this. What was the time that you first stood on a stage and you realized that you loved this, that you want to do it again? What was the first time you handed in maybe a short story and the teacher said, "Oh my goodness, you are a storyteller. You should be writing books." Or you could be really doing this for a living. You could maybe become a journalist or something. What is the first time, the first of anyone's life, your first kiss, your first love, the first time you stood up? You know, your parents were watching every little thing, and I bet they could relay each detail of the first time you did anything in your life. But now is a time for you to really figure out, what are those firsts? What are the firsts that really inspired you? The first time you played a guitar, the first time you opened your mouth and you realized you can make people laugh. What was the firsts? Write that story down. This is your reason also why. Why then, after you realized that you were good at this thing, what was it about it that made you want to keep exploring it, keep building your skills, really take it to the next level? So part of the past is, why do you want to make this a career? Why did you want to write the book? Why did you want to write the song? Why do you want to stand on bigger and bigger stages? So the first part of the past is that first stories of how you discovered this talent, this desire. And then the second is why. Okay, does that make sense? So I'll even write that down for you guys. It's like the first and then why. So important. The second part of storytelling here would be the present. Well, what are you working on right now? This is the time to kind of name drop a little. If you're working with anyone super cool right now, this would be the time to talk about it. What is your current project? And really crafting a story around it. You know, I work with so many songwriters and singers. So the present could be right now. I'm working on my new EP. It has this theme of this transformation, love, lost, and lust, you know, maybe coming up with literary phrases, really cool vocabulary and words. Our ability to communicate here is really important, right? Because as I just said, like love, loss, and lust, or love, lust, and loss, you know, maybe that's better. But to come up with really cool words, tell people what you are currently working on and your level of desire and passion, excitement. It's kind of your job is to express your story, this current part of your story, with as much desire, passion, and excitement as possible. What we don't want to do is say words like, "What do you think?" Or I would love to get your feedback on that, because you probably don't want their feedback on it. Does that make sense? You really do want to express it like it's something that you love, something you're excited about, something that you cannot wait to share it with the world. Okay. So your level of vocabulary here, communication skills here is like beyond, because that's what's going to pull us here towards the future. Where are you going? And if you can really express where you're going with clarity. So what we don't want in the future part of your story, as you're crafting your story here, what we don't want is some delusional future that is really reserved for kind of 1% of 1% of 1%. I'm not saying you can't achieve that. And in fact, I really hope one day you are able to achieve that. But it's so important when you are sharing your story from any stage that you make the future plausible, a future possibly that whoever you are speaking with can see themselves in your future. I'm going to repeat that because it's a very powerful point. And if you can craft this in a really cool way, trust me, your audience will stay with you forever. You want to craft your future, where you are going, in such a way that they see themselves in your future, that they're coming with you. So let me give you an example. I work with a phenomenal singer-songwriter, and she's from a very small town here in Canada. And we use this exact strategy, not exactly in this order. So I'll express how I did it. We went from present. It is so incredible to be with all of you tonight. This is an acknowledgement of the audience, and it's acknowledgement of where you are. I have been working on this project for the last 2 years, and I am so excited to be able to share these songs with you right now. Listen to the language right now with you. But I got to tell you something. When I look out at this audience, I know that in just a short amount of time, I'll be able to sing these songs at Scotiabank Arena. And I want to take all of you there with me. I'm looking out at everyone in this room, and I can't wait to be able to do this with all of you, you know, at a much, much larger arena. I see it in my mind, and I see you all there with me. And then we concluded with her past, how she got started. Oh, this could be how, sorry. How. You should add that. How. So this got started with how did she get started? So she said, but let me tell you, this all started with just a young girl writing songs in her bedroom in a small town in Canada. And I want to do one of those songs for you now. Okay. Hello. Pretty cool. Now I'm paraphrasing totally. It was even better than that. But it goes from present, future, past. We could certainly, what I want you to do right now is just identify these 3 things because it is unbelievably powerful. Okay? The next part of your story, and then we could build into this, I'm going to call a validation story. And sometimes we forget the small things, the things that you've done that are really huge accomplishments, the things that people get excited when you share them. It's like it helps people kind of connect the dots is validation. So what do I mean by that? It could be, as I'm sharing this story, it could be something like, I want to do a song for you that I wrote 2 years ago. I've been performing it for every single audience, and every audience, this is their favorite song. Okay, that would be validation. I'm sort of just paraphrasing. So it'd be like, I'm talking about something in the present that I wrote in the past, and I'm adding a validation. In this case, it's the validation of other audiences. So huge. Because when people know, this is psychology really, when people know that other people dig something, we want more of it, don't we? If we know that other people agree, we then are more apt to agree as well. This, of course, as you become further ahead in your career, could be, in my case, I don't think I have it here, the National Post called me Canada's Mariah Carey. Boom! I had the Toronto Star, a huge newspaper here, say, I want to teach the world to sing. I can quote other more endorsed media outlets. I can endorse other people. Maybe people have given you quotes. When you walk out of a theater, right? What do they say? So-and-so star of Broadway. 5 stars on green apples. Is it green apples? Green tomatoes. What is that? You know what I mean? So we can use validation from outlets. Juno nominated, Grammy nominated. These become validation. 100,000 streams, New York Times bestseller list. This can become what I call a sentence beside your name. And this sentence walks in the room with you. It walks in the room with you. It becomes your one-line intro, right? Again, New York Times bestseller list, Forbes 500, fastest growing companies. Whatever that sentence is for you, it could be the last year, she has dazzled audiences everywhere. We've got to come up with the language that really lights other people up, that creates agreement through validation. Following me? So make a list of all of your accomplishments. Make a list of all of the things that you've done, all the people that you've worked with, all the things that you know could resonate with someone else. Give them a sense of who you are. Give them a sense of agreement. And again, you can kind of go past. Well, what are the validation from my past? What awards have I won? Who have I worked with in the past? Who am I working with right now? Who do I desire to work with? As media, I do a lot of media coaching as well. This is a really common question here, right? How did you get started? What are you working on right now? And then who would you like to collaborate with? Who's your dream collaborator, right? This is a very common question, especially if you are emerging. If you're someone that not everyone knows your name just yet, maybe you've only written one book, maybe you've been selling some courses online, but now you're standing on bigger and bigger stages. People don't know your name, like you're not Tony Robbins just yet, right? You're not Lady Gaga just yet, but you can definitely start to see that the way you craft this could hook people to want to know more about you. Does that make sense? So validation in each of these areas. If I used Beyonce as an example, in her past, she created a character called Sasha Fierce. Why did she create that? Because she was nervous. She needed to have an alter ego. Because as an actor, she knew if she created a character, it would pull her towards being Sasha Fierce in the present, standing on stages, dazzling people night after night, having that strong work ethic. Sasha Fierce gave her that inner strength. Who is your Sasha Fierce? Who is your Sasha Fierce? Because you're sometimes going to have to really create it in order to create this compelling future. Why is this so important? The desire, the passion, the excitement, and the validation. If I can hook the audience to see themselves in your future, where you are going, they will be your real fan, your super fan. They'll be the person who buys your merch first. They're going to line up for tickets now. They're going to tell their friends about you right now. This is super important. They want to believe that they are discovering you for the first time and they are a part of your ride. There are university programs right now analyzing the massive success of Taylor Swift and this Eras tour. But I'll tell you something, it's really in just her, one person's ability to enroll her fan in her story, her successes and her failures, her wins and her losses, her friends. My gosh, she can enroll you in her friends, right? She enrolled you in Selena Gomez, didn't she? But she can also enroll you in her wars with people. She has an ability to communicate unlike any other artist we have ever seen on stage and off stage. Every chance she has when there's a microphone in front of her face, she is engaging her audience in all of those areas that I just expressed. Her wins and her losses, her friends and her wars. And so you want to be able to do that too. And you want to help your audience wherever you are really see themselves in your future so they stay with you. The last story that I really want you to consider is, so this is super important, I'm just going to write it here, is whatever you're working on right now, I want you to focus now only on why you want it. This would be a sense of purpose. This could be a mission statement. Legacy. Now, for some of you who are just emerging, this last story, this last big statement here of purpose might be too big for, you're not even sure where you're going. But for everyone else, I am telling you, you want to enroll that audience in this certain future, not uncertain future, but you're enrolling them in the certain future. If you have a strong sense of purpose, if you are on a mission, if you are really trying to create legacy, and you can enroll them again in that dream, my goodness, you are going to have fans for the rest of your life. I have been so fortunate as a coach, vocal coach, performance coach, career coach, but I am fortunate as a performer myself to really have this. I have a very strong sense of past of how I got started. I have several stories also for each aspect of what I do. I have crafted a story that I can share, short and long. I suggest you do the same. Media like short, but if you're standing on a stage, you can sometimes express a story a little longer. Present, what are you working on right now? Well, I am so excited to be just developing this YouTube channel. Why? Why do I want to create the YouTube channel? Because I have something more to say. I love coaching programs, and this gives me a chance to express myself, to connect with you. Wherever you are in the world, you get to watch this, and I can share some things that might be a little different than what other, let's say, career coaches or business coaches might be sharing. This is more of, let's say, an artistic slant on things. And because I have written many songs, books, articles, scripts for people, I'm a dancer in my background and my past. I've created so many amazing moments with an audience on stage and off. And I just want to help you do the same. So that is creating then my future, right? That is my why I am here. This is the mission statement. I want to help you get the skills that you need, the tools that you need to express yourself. It isn't good enough, unfortunately, to just do what you do really well. It is possible, let's say, in sport, to be the best baseball player, basketball player, quarterback, whatever it might be in your skill, the fastest runner, the fastest swimmer. And of course, we can win Olympic medals doing that. But to create a career, to monetize, for those athletes to actually sell products, to get endorsements, they need to know their story. And through their story, they're connecting deeply to a particular audience. And that audience wants to buy that product, drink the drink that they're selling, wear the watch, whatever it might be that they're trying to sell, or that company wants to use now this famous person as the endorsement, as the connector to their product. So they're not selling the product, they're selling really the lifestyle of this athlete, this singer, this actor, and the audience relates so much to the person. If you guys watch any Cooking Network or HGTV, it is exactly the same thing. If you want to be a host of anything, you're not really selling your skill set of building fancy houses or being a gorgeous designer. The people who are on, or great cook, the people who are on these shows have a very clear sense of story. They are able to express themselves through their communication skills, their vocabulary. They're able to craft this story to enroll the audience in a hooky way. Guy Fieri is an incredible chef, of course, but it's his personality that you want to watch drive-ins, diners, and dives, right? Isn't that why I had to remember the title of the thing? Why do you want to watch the things that you watch? Start to notice people, I call it, who are playing tennis, just a little bit better than you, and see if you can't model and notice how are they expressing themselves? How are they telling the story of the past, present, and future? How are they using validation without sounding boastful or ego-driven? How are they able to use this to validate these aspects of their story? And finally, their last story. This is huge. This is their mission statement. This is their purpose. If you can enroll people in why you want to lose the weight, it's not just how you lost the weight, but why you want to lose the weight, they will stay your fan, your follower forever. They will buy your books. You'll be able to switch careers, just like those athletes often switch careers from being on the field to then becoming an announcer, maybe going on, the morning shows and becoming an anchor, maybe becoming a clothing designer. I use Pharrell Williams in what I do all the time, because look at this guy. He really goes from being the most prolific creator, collaborating with everybody, putting out amazing music. There's another song and another song, another collaboration, another name of a group. It doesn't even matter that he was Pharrell Williams on one song, the next month putting out a song under Daft Punk, and so on and so on. But he's using his skills, using his ability to tell a story. It's not that he's just a songwriter. He is a storyteller. He's able to craft stories, so much so that now he is the artistic director for Louis Vuitton and doing a phenomenal job at revamping that story of an iconic brand in the past and bring it in to a very cool future. Does this make sense? Like doing their catwalk, doing their show over the Paris Bridge. I mean, what? Go watch that. It's spectacular. So really revamping how he is telling this story and bringing people into the future. This is a brand you're going to want to wear. So just knowing these three things, knowing what validates you, knowing what sets you apart, knowing that people agree, that you can really spin this to build agreement with more and more and more people, taking your audience from one to one to one to many, and then really having a purpose that drives you. This why connects you, it's like glue. It's like a magnet. Go for it, everyone. Enjoy this. Work it out and leave me some comments so that I can hear your amazing accomplishments. Let's reward you and just celebrate you for attempting to tackle this at a higher level. If you love this video and you love the videos that I'm making, do subscribe, tell a friend, but make sure you leave a comment, and I'll circle back with you next week.